All right, saxophone people, it's time for number 113, Shortcut. I'll play it for you first, and then we'll talk about what it's about. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. All right, good. So, now the thing about this song is that it's teaching you about a new type of rhythm called the dotted quarter note, which is almost always followed by a single eighth note. So you have both of those on the top of the page, and they explain how they work. A dot after a note makes the note longer by half of the length of the note. So if you take a quarter note, that is 1, and you put a dot after it, it makes it longer by half of 1, and that's a half. So you got 1.5 beats. Now the key thing is to think about this. If you have an eighth note, how long is that? And if you said an eighth note is half a beat, you are correct. So think about this for a minute. How many eighth notes would it take to equal the same amount of time as a dotted quarter note? And if you said 3, you'd be correct. So what they do in this example is they have the very beginning measure, T, 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 4 eighth notes. Your foot should tap T, 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 T. Okay? Second measure, same thing. T, 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 T. And then what do they do in the third measure? They use the, I'm not wearing it, they use the tie, and they connect the first 3 eighth notes together. T, T, like that. And if you think about it, 3 eighth notes is equal to a dotted quarter note. So then what they do in the next measure is they take a quarter note and tie it to an eighth note. And if you do the math, that should also add up to 1.5 beats. All right? So in that measure, I like to think of it as this way. Ta, ti. And the tied eighth note, I think of it as an ah. Ta, ti. And then same thing with the dotted quarter note. Ta, ta, ti. And the idea would be this. When you see a dotted quarter note, ta, down, up, down. So it's a ta and then the ah on the next tap. And then when your foot bounces up, that's when you do the single eighth note, which is what follows it. All right? So I hope that explanation is a little bit helpful for you. So you should break it down, try to make sure your foot is tapping, or I should say, do make sure your foot is tapping, all right? Because that really makes all the difference. All right? Have fun with number, what is that? 113. All right.